It's shop toe time. So I know I have been out for quite a while, but I have been doing something. And I've been doing something that's going to bring value to you. And I'm happy to be back on YouTube. So we have actually been building a business, doing actual custom woodworking, and we scaled up. And we're going to go into all this, but I want to clarify something because I know some of you whine. All this was bought with my own money that I made from doing business, started in a shipping container, and now we're in a shop, an actual shop. The past few months, I have done an extreme amount of custom woodworking business, and now I really feel like I have something of value to put on YouTube for you guys. I wasted a lot of time listening to woodworkers on YouTube that have never actually done the scale of the business that we're doing now. And let me tell you, we making some money and we doing some business. And I wish I wouldn't have listened to a lot of YouTubers, YouTube woodworkers, because I wasted a lot of money and a lot of time making things pretty. I don't even like French cleats, but it looks good. So let's get into the tour. I'm going to show you everything that's new. Let's do it. So my wood storage is right by each access door, and that's because there is somewhat of a workflow going on, and you'll see that as we go. Obviously, I come in with most of the material through this large roll-up door, and I like to bring my material in. I'll chop it on the miter saw down to a rough length, and then whatever's extra or whatever's for the next project, we stage it right here in the storage area. So this material is stored for the next project, which we're about to start. That material here is the next table. It's getting acclimated, and the rest of this is all extra because my scrap wood cup doth runneth over. So next up is the miter saw station. From the wood storage to the miter saw station. And as you can tell, this is not a fancy miter saw station. These are just some cases. I got some electrical stuff here, sockets, ratchets, extra hardware, some shop box tables. I really need to put a shelf down here and get better at organizing the scrap wood. But this is what we got right now. The miter saw is hooked up to a dust vac, which is on a remote switch that I had in the last shop tour I did. And I also have, what's coming real handy, I've got a corded drill that's also hooked up to the switch. And whenever I do any pocket holes, I'll hook the vacuum up without having to move anything around. I just hook the vacuum hose up to the Craig jig, do the holes, and when I use the drill, the vacuum kicks on. So, miter saw station, and one of the best parts about it is when you finish cutting a piece of wood, you don't have far to walk to put the wood back into wood storage. So here I have the bandsaw. I actually bought this for a project that we did. It was a harp style trestle table. I don't have much use for it. I don't regret buying it because it has come in handy for other things. I've done some intricate bases, tables, things like that. One of the tables coming up, you'll actually see me using this, but I don't use it that much, and I wish I wouldn't have bought it brand new because of the fact that I don't use it that much. It's hooked up to the old dust collector. I had a thin scroll blade that I keep busting off. Like, I suck at using this thing, but I also have this thicker blade for resawing material. Hadn't quite figured out the tool yet enough to use it every project. I'm sure it has its uses, but just ain't used it that much. It's a good tool, great tool. I'm happy with it. Just, I hope I can find more use for it. This is an 8-inch helical head shop box joiner, and I am so happy I was able to afford it. Obviously, if you watch my channel, you know you don't really need a joiner, but the amount of work that we are doing, I had to upgrade my tools, and part of that was a joiner. I couldn't keep on doing the joining on the table saw just because of the volume. So the 8-inch helical head, I love it. It's very easy to use. It's dialed in right out of the box. It's heavy. It runs off of a 220. The dust collection is fairly good. I still get dust and chips everywhere, but so far I've had it for about 6 months. and I have put some miles on it. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal tool. I know it's a luxury tool. Like I said, I feel blessed that I was able to afford it, but all the money we're making in our business, we're putting back into the business, and we're able to get tools like this. And so continuing with the workflow, we had the miter station. I do have to bring it across to the joiner. I run it through the joiner, then I'll go to the table saw, and then I'll run it through the planer. The workflow is still, we're working it out. I'm kind of tied to how the dust collection runs in my ceiling. It's pretty expensive, and I suck at plumbing. I got it up there, and I'm done. So I'm kind of just dealing with, there's a little bit of a disruption in the flow, but it still works out pretty well. So here is our 20-inch ShopFox helical head planer, and I love it. The reason I bought this, I had a DeWalt, I can't even remember the name of the other one that was supposedly a helical head, but it was spiral. The DeWalt just couldn't keep up, and I was spending hours upon hours planing out of a little residential box planer, and it just cost me a lot of time. And I'm already out here spending a lot of time. I want to capitalize and be as efficient as possible. So we got the 20-inch helical head planer, and it is an absolute monster. And what's so impressive about it is how quiet it is. We're not going to turn the volume down, so noise coming in 3, 2, and that's how quiet it is. You could talk, even when there's material running through the machine, you could still talk and hear what the person next to you is saying. So I love it. It's a very efficient tool. But one of the main differences I've learned with these tools versus the kind you can buy at the big box stores, these require maintenance. I've got to change the oil. I've got to do all kinds of other routine maintenance with this every 20 or so hours, every 10 or so hours, depending on what we're talking about. So there is maintenance when it comes to these larger tools that I wasn't aware of, but absolutely worth the money if you got it. And I had it, so I got it. Get mad at me all you freaking want to, but this is a SawStop. The reason I bought it is because that other Laguna Fusion 2 piece of junk could not keep up with the amount of work that we were freaking doing, and I was stuck burning wood, recutting wood. I lost so much of my jointed edges because the Laguna Fusion 2 sucked. So I had to get a bigger saw to do more work. It's a 5 horsepower freaking monster that, yes, I spent a lot of freaking my money on it, but it's a great tool. And so I went with the SawStop because I did have some shop help in the shop, working in the shop, and I didn't want them to cut their hand off then and I get sued. So that's why I went to SawStop. And also, just so you know, so this is the 5 horsepower industrial SawStop. It's direct wired to the panel. I wired it myself, and it's an absolute monster. Now, when it came out of the box, it was not cutting straight, and it ticked me off because it's expensive. So I had to adjust the casting top to the blade itself and zero it in with the dial indicator gauge. It took a while, but now that it's dialed in, it runs material as straight as a razor. It's a great saw, great tool. It's got a learning curve to it. I'm still learning it. This is the newest addition. It's literally been in my shop for about a month, but it has not bogged down one single freaking time. But interesting fact, in case you're wondering, this 5 horsepower industrial grade SawStop is cheaper than the lower model Powermatic. Make that make sense, because the Powermatic does not have the safety features. So this was actually cheaper than, I think it was a 2 or 3 horsepower Powermatic table saw. Now I did get the extension table and I have used it, both the stage work, but also I have used the full 52-inch lift to cut down some stock. Great saw. It hurt to buy it, but I'm glad I made the investment and it is paying itself off. This is a tool I never thought I would ever have in my shop, but it is a Woodmaster 50-inch double drum sander. And so when I ordered this tool, I ordered it to sand the tabletops at a faster rate and also flatten them. Now it won't remove material very quickly, so my glue ups have to be pretty dead on. But after I have a tabletop, which most of them are 40 to 42 inches, I run it through here. The front drum is an 80 grit. The back drum is a 120 grit. So by the time I finish running it back and forth through the conveyor belt, through the sander, the whole tabletop is finished. And I don't have to use a hand sander except for the edges. Now, when I bought it, I added this reverse switch. So I'm able to run the tabletop through, it gets sanded. When it goes all the way through, I hit the reverse switch and it feeds it back to me. So I don't have to muscle the tabletop around the tool. Now it's a pricey tool, but if you're talking about a business, it's well worth the investment. They have some smaller models for the more hobbyist level, but I don't spend hours upon hours hand sanding one side of the table. I can do a whole tabletop in about 45 minutes to an hour, top and bottom, start to finish. That includes water popping as well. I will demonstrate this in some upcoming videos that we're going to do, where I want to run whole tabletops through here, and you'll see it. So I'm not going to demonstrate it now because I got to turn on the dust collector. It gets loud, and I'm honestly taking a break to do this video. So I'm enjoying not really working right now. Are you recording now? So it helps if you have a gut, so that whenever you're walking on these shots, you can put it on top of your belly like that. And so that's why I have the gut, so I can do the walking shots. Are you recording? Oh, okay. So clamp rack wall, nothing fancy about it. I got a lot of clamps that I need to clean up. I'm still working this area out. I really want to come up with a clamp table. But for right now, we got a clamp rack wall, spindle sander, a buffet that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with, some other various tools. Over here, we have a bunch of hand tools that I don't use. So I'm not a good worker. I'm not a good woodworker. I'm just a good businessman. So a lot of dusty. Come look at the dust. Come look at the dust on these hand tools. All right, you ready? Can you see it? I haven't used them. I'm ashamed of myself. But hand tools, more hand tools, nail guns, various things. I'm still organizing it. I might be selling all the hand tools actually pretty soon because I just don't use them and they haven't come into any use for me, but they're not in the way and they look pretty cool. French cleat wall, which I'm not a fan of. I've had it in my shop, I'm not a fan of it. If it's not full, to me, it just looks like an incomplete project. So sandpaper I don't use because it's all 5-inch and I bought some 6-inch sanders when I actually started getting into the actual business and scaling up of it. So sandpaper, screws, router bits, 4-center bits, work table, various implements of mass destruction. Got a 4x8 work table here. No, I'm sorry. A 4x7 work table. 4x7 work table. These are both built the same way. They're about this low, whatever that measurement is. They work pretty well because I can get a nice big work surface for gluing up, for assembling. They're dead flat, but I do need to replace the tops because they're getting a little bit messy. So underneath the work table, I have some shelf space. I got my track saw, I got a 1/2-inch router, got another 1/2-inch router. Did I lose my microphone? I got an electric hand planer, got a 1/4-inch router, and I got a Rotec 150. So I really need to improve my power tool storage because I have a bunch of tools just laying around. The cords get all tangled up, but it works for now. So I keep power tools between both of the tables. I have a Festool mini vac. I have a Merca sander. Like I said, the Rotec 150 and the Merca, those are both 6-inch sanders. So when I started scaling up the business, I upgraded to 6-inch sanders. That was actually the first investment I made. I still had old residential tools. I still had the box store type, smaller tools. But the first investment I made was larger sanders, and it did speed up sanding and finish sanding. So in the cabinet, over here is just some stuff that I need to keep on hand. Basic stuff and a bunch of nitpicky stuff. I actually did use dowels lately, but I got some extra cartridges, dado stack, clamps, various, you know how it is in a shop. You got your junk. This is one of my junk cabinets, but it's all stuff that I use when I need it. Hi. So down here, more power tools. The biscuit joiner. I do have a biscuit. No, that's a domino. I got a domino joiner. That's a domino joiner, guys. Domino joiner, biscuit joiner, jigsaw. I need to throw that away, and a skill saw over there. So more power tool storage that I need to improve, but we are where we are. Yes, I am privileged to have this, and I'm happy to have it. So I recently bought the XL domino joiner because I had, what did I buy it for? I had a weird table that had angles. The only way to make that connection without having screws showing was with a domino joiner. I could have did mortise and tenon, but that would have taken too long. And I'm running a business here. So tool came in handy. Ain't quite made my money off of it yet, but that is, I know, because I had one before, that's a great tool to have. So if you hate me, you hate me. But Festool is a good tool, especially if you're having a business. I will say this, a bunch of YouTube woodworkers, they don't have a business, but they're doing all of these commercial grade, commercial style tools. The SawStop, the Festool, and it's really uncalled for because it puts a lot of pressure on the viewer to buy and to keep up with the Joneses when you really may not need these tools. I bought these tools because I actually have a successful and scaling business, and that's what's helped me to keep up with the, what do you call it? It's helped me to keep up with the backlog, keep up with the schedule, and put out good quality work. Various implements. My shop is pretty sparse when it comes to being aesthetically pleasing. It's very utilitarian. Pliers, saws, not saws, pliers, scissors, things like that. A little drill station that I got from Lowe's, which actually has been pretty useful. I do like it. I bought this off of Amazon. If I remember, I'll put a link. Matter of fact, I'll have a link to this in the description. I use this for my glue station, but I'm about to actually buy a couple more of them. When I'm telling you, I can talk like nobody's business. I chair meetings. I have chaired meetings in Italy. I have chaired meetings in Dubai. I have chaired meetings in France multiple times on all countries. I've chaired meetings. I just went to India. I chaired a meeting over there, and I could talk just fine. Every time I'm on camera, for some reason, I bumble my words. So this is cool. Got a paper towel holder. I use it for a glue station. I'm going to order another one because I want to get some more glue bottles, and I want a glue station over there where the clamps actually are. Other stuff, like I said, nothing too fancy. We got a drill press over here. Is my sprayer. So for my tables, I use a lot of paint. I use a lot of lacquer. So I have two sprayers. I actually burnt this one up. I left it on overnight accidentally. Sucks because you can't really replace parts on it. So that's why I upgraded to this one, which is a freaking monster, but it's expensive, in my opinion. But this sprays only lacquer. I messed up when I started, and I tried to use one sprayer to do lacquer and paint. And I sprayed a table. I did the paint first, cleaned it out. I thought I cleaned it enough, sprayed all the lacquer after I stained it, and I had white paint specks throughout the table. And I had to refinish the entire tabletop. So I learned my lesson the hard way. That's paint only. This is lacquer only. The lacquer I use is from Sherwin-Williams. It's a Dole Rub lacquer. I have an account with them. I had to set up a lot of commercial accounts because I do a lot of business. But I use a Dole Rub lacquer, and I love it. You'll see some of that in some upcoming videos. The finish is just phenomenal. It's a great finish. But lacquer sprayer, paint sprayer, finishing area. The only thing that sucks is whenever I spray lacquer, it shuts down the whole shop. So I got to be mindful of when I'm spraying lacquer, when I'm spraying finishes, because I don't really have a spray booth or a separate segregated area, but we're working on that. No more twerking for the rest of the video. This is stains. So I got stains, I got epoxy, all my paint stuff. So all my mechanical stuff is in that cabinet. All my finishing stuff is in this cabinet. I even have some sandpaper, got some respirators, touch-up lacquer, which I've learned not to use, rags, brushes, steel wool, things like that. So stains, finishes, and over there more the mechanical dado stacks, things like that. So when you walk into the big roll-up door, if you turn to the left, this is where we are. This is at the end of the shop. I put all of my received materials, because we have to order a lot of material ahead of time, be it pedestal bases, legs, chairs, and we'll put it over here. I'll label them for which project it is, and when I need it, I come over here and grab it. Dust collector, which is a freaking hoss, old double barrel, If I would have upgraded the dust collection, I would not have been able to keep up with the amount of work that we have been doing. Same thing with the tools. All of these upgrades have been completely necessary. I think this is a 5 horsepower. It's a locally made company in my area. I believe they make it. They probably make it in China and ship it and, upcharge, but it's a great dust collector. I do have to empty these bags every week. One project, I'll fill this whole bag up. Oh, both bags. So I tried doing it with that little dust collector that's hooked up to the bandsaw, and I would spend just about every hour, I had to empty that cloth bag, and it took longer to empty that cloth bag than it does to empty these two and set these back up. So this has been a great investment, a great time saver, and a really good dust collector. I have it hooked up to 10-inch pipe for my main header. And then I have some 4-inch branches, 2 branches that run and drop off that hook up to all the major tools in the shop. And that's what kind of limits the workflow. One day, maybe I'll improve the dust collection to kind of accommodate the workflow, but this crap here is expensive. Make sure you're sitting down, but just between the dust collector and the piping, was about $4,000, $4,500. Hope you enjoyed your tour today of the Burnstock facility. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. So I'm actually about to start recording the next video, which is going to be a dining table. We'll show you start to finish how we do our dining tables. This one specifically is a double pedestal base style. But we're back in action. We're going to do a video week. Not every week, maybe every week. We're going to do videos. Yeah, I could commit. We're going to do some videos. Like and subscribe. Keep up with the channel. I'm also going to talk to you pretty soon in the next few videos that we're planning out, how much money we're actually making, how you can do the same thing. You don't have to have this big setup. I started in a shipping container. You don't have to have this big setup. You can eventually work your way into it just like we did.